is on big mission today. My dude Doyle and I are about to head up to Boyne City to pick up the Sea Ray. And pretty nice day. Should be easy flying. 2.5 hours up there in the truck, 2.5 hours back for Doyle.
That's right. It's gonna be a good trip.
My Sea Ray, my seaplane, is done with its condition inspection. Condition inspection for an experimental aircraft is kind of like the annual inspection for a certified aircraft, except that can be done by an A&P, an airframe and power plant mechanic, not just an IA or a inspector authorization. Either way, the plane is done and it's only $850 this year for its annual inspection or its condition inspection. And it only took 3 days, which is sweet as hell because last year it took almost a month and cost almost $5,000. Last year we had a bunch of maintenance that had to be done to get it kind of like up to snuff because it was the first real annual since I've owned the plane. And this year being the second annual since I've owned the plane, most of the maintenance has already been done either by me as continual maintenance or last year at last year's condition inspection. All right, Doyle and I just noticed that it's Trout Festival this weekend, which means there is tamales and bloomin' onions. Doyle doesn't eat vegetables, so. Whoa, what'd you get, dude?
Deep fried cheesecake bites, man. Look at that.
Those are big ones.
Go for it, dude.
Oh, it's like mosaic.
You want some chocolate? Oh my goodness. For us, it's arguably the best part of the cheesecake, too.
An hour more on the road and we were there, pulling into Boyne City Airport to pick up the plane, and man, does that plane look good. As I was doing my extensive pre-flight, this Velocity XL pulled in, and look at this thing. It's got this sweet purple bass boat flake paint job and canards. What a cool airplane. I picked up about 11 gallons of 100 low lead. They don't have MoGas at this field. Checked everything over one more time, and it's time to hit the air. It's a beautiful sunny day in northern Michigan, but it still is only 45 degrees, so gotta be a little careful hopping into some lakes.
So on the way back, there's a whole bunch of lakes that I can splash into that I'm really excited about. Right off the runway there in Boyne City Airport is Lake Charlevoix. Lake Charlevoix is this massive lake. It's like 20 miles long, has 2 arms, and I've been into it a couple of times, but it's usually pretty wavy because it's so big. It has a lot of fetch, which is how much water is exposed to the predominant wind, which in that area is coming from the west typically. So you get these big waves. You can actually get like 2-3 foot waves on the east end of the lake where the airport is. We try to splash in there.
And I was trying to land here by Young State Park. There's a sweet beach I could pull up there, but it was just a little too wavy, and honestly I didn't feel comfortable, so I left.
And then right around the way is Torch Lake, which I've been into once before, but it's usually so busy. Also can get a lot of waves, but down on the bottom of the lake, it's usually pretty chill.
And Torch Lake is beautiful as hell, and you never get it to yourself.
And then we'll just kind of like see where the route takes me. There's a whole bunch of stuff on the way home. Michigan has thousands and thousands of lakes, and I'd love to explore them all. So let's see if we can get a few of them today.
The wind's out of the northeast today. I did one approach down to this green sandbar-y area, which is pretty nice. Took off again and thought I'd land actually on the sandbar. The Torch Lake Sandbar is this really popular party spot, and since there's nobody there today, I figured why not? Last time I was up here, it was the middle of July, and there was 100 boats and a couple hundred drunk people hanging out on the sandbar, and honestly, I didn't feel comfortable pulling up to them because they're always trying to race you and stuff. But today, it's just me. It's just me and beautiful, clear Torch Lake water. Yeah, the water is 40 degrees, which is why. I'm gonna have to get up here again some warm morning and do some handstands because Torch Lake is truly amazing. You can see the grin on my face because I'm just so hyped that this place even exists and that you can just fly your seaplane to it and land in it. How amazing is that? What an amazing thing. I continued heading south, and Fife Lake was right out of the windshield. I've been in there before too. They've got a sweet dairy barn and a restaurant. It's a really nice area. One of the cool things I think about seaplaning is that you get to see these places from a completely different perspective. I've been to Fife Lake in a car, but you never see it from this side. I didn't even know there was these islands and these big pine trees and a little sandbar, and I never would have had I not flown into it in a seaplane. You get to revisit a lot of these, spots that are new again. The wind and the water had completely changed from Charlevoix and Torch. There was almost no wind down here. The water was really glassy, just very gentle rolling waves. Really, really smooth. Off of Fife Lake, and at this point I'm thinking I'm probably going to head home, but as I departed I kind of got near Cadillac and saw Lake City off to my left and Lake Missaukee, which I've never landed in. I've been through Lake City 100,000 times driving up to the UP and stuff, so I figured, hey, you know, today's a nice day to give it a try. And since this is my first time in the lake, there's actually a bunch of lakes here, so I circled over them, made sure there's no power lines, I didn't see any logs, any weird debris. You're doing like a really extensive overflight to make sure everything looks cool. And again, wind totally different. Now it's due north, touchdown, the little boating, little taxiing around on step, which is really fun. The Sea Ray, you can cruise around like a boat at 30 miles an hour, and you can do it all day long. It burns very little fuel, and you're effectively a boat. It's like the raddest little flying boat. I also saw a bald eagle here, too. Didn't show up on camera, but I promise you, there was a bald eagle flying around with me. How cool is that? And now it's really time to head home. It's about 90 miles away still, and 90 miles in the Seaplane is like 90 minutes, and it's hot tub night with a wife, so I want to get there. But on my route, I overfly Croton Hardy Dam Ponds, part of the Muskegon River. It's one of my favorite areas to kind of do some seaplaning because it's a big, wide open area that's pretty close to home. So I had to pop in there for one last quick touch and go. They lowered the water here since it's a dam pond in the winter, and the water level's still pretty low, which exposed a lot of neat little beaches and islands that I'd love to explore, but I really kind of got to get home. And unfortunately, I think by the time I get back, they're probably going to fill the place back up, so maybe next year. It's only about 15-20 minutes from here to my home airport. It's got a bit of a crosswind. That wind is still out of the north. It's blowing 12 to 15 knots, which is kind of my comfortable limit for the Sea Ray, but we'll give it a go. So runway 7 gives me about an 8 to 9 knot crosswind component. Really not that big of a problem, but it does make it a little bit more sporty than usual. Back on the ground, didn't break anything. Really nice little afternoon of flying.
Back here in Sparta, I think I logged like 3.5 hours of flying the Sea Ray. I got 5 water landings in, so that's pretty nice. Little crosswind here, wife's coming to pick me up. Pretty decent day of flying. Glad to have the Sea Ray back as it warms up when we flying the wings off it. Can't wait.